Welcome to the Purpose Over Profits podcast. I'm excited that we're going to be re-airing our episode with Beach Loveland, the initial guest on the Purpose Over Profits podcast. He is not only a great father, a great friend, but he's also an avid community member in Irmo, South Carolina, where he owns Loveland Coffee. Excited for you guys to learn more. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Purpose Over Profits podcast. My name is Jeremy Powers, owner of Powers Insurance Experts.
And I'm Jim Floyd, owner of Ascent Total Performance, a full-service physical therapy clinic in Columbia, South Carolina.
We are excited. We have a special guest for you guys today, the man, the myth, the legend that is Beach Loveland with Loveland Coffee.
I really appreciate you guys having me here today, and looking forward to talking about what you guys do and share a little bit what we do at Loveland Coffee. So let's get at it.
That's it.
Both Jeremy and I are big fans of your company. We love the coffee, but also just the structure you built and the culture you built with your company too. Can you tell us a little bit just about background and how you came to be where you are now?
Well, it's been where we are now has been a journey of about 15 to 16 years, maybe a little bit more at this point. Seems like not that long ago, but it has been a number of years since we've got going on this. We came up with the idea of Loveland Coffee all the way back in about 2003, 2004. And then I married my wife, Jessica, in 2005. I was actually getting ready to start college. I went to college a little later in life. So I was thinking through what I wanted to do. I waited tables, worked in the service industry for a real long time. Really enjoyed it, but I didn't want to be in a restaurant for the rest of my life per se. So I started thinking about creative things that would work with all my giftings and working around people. And I was kind of early on in the coffee scene as far as in the South Carolina, Columbia scene at least. And I thought about, hey, coffee might be something I'd be really interested in. I'm really into design. I'm really into art and photography. The artisan side of coffee was appealing to me, and it brought people together. So it kind of, to me, it was like, this is what I want to do. At the same time, I wanted to go to school and finish up and get a degree and focus in on building a degree around what I wanted to do. So I wanted to serve people. I also wanted to build community. So that's kind of what I did. And after we finished up, while I was in undergrad, I was working in a shop out in Lexington called The Wired Bean. It was a small little shop. Worked there all throughout undergrad and ended up managing the shop towards the end. But fortunately, it went out of business. And when they did, I bought all their equipment, kind of put it in storage, thinking one day I would do something. One day I did do something. I found that little drive-through kiosk everybody's familiar with that we started with on the side of the road in a used car dealership on my way to a daughter's appointment one day.
Wow.
And it was kind of around the point where I was like, I'm never really going to open this shop. And I was kind of like, I'm just about to be stuck in this 9-to-5 job I hate. I was a general agent for insurance for ancillary and health insurance. So it wasn't too fun, but I did it to provide for my family.
So are you saying that you are like Tom Brady and insurance was a backup plan? And I'm the one that didn't make it out of the backup plan.
It wasn't even my backup plan. It was just I arrived there to have a job. But so I was kind of at the, am I going to do this or not? And I found that and I was like, I can do that. And I ended up buying this little kiosk for like $10,000. A year later, I did a Kickstarter campaign. I was on the front end of when the Kickstarter came out and raised about a little over $9,000 and then opened the drive-through in, December of 2012. So we're coming up on 10 years this year of that being open. And we launched at the end of the year of 2012 and slowly built it up over the years and then started just putting everything right back into the business with what you see now as the goal, the building, the cafe, the roastery. We just kept working diligently to get it and things started falling in place.
Yeah, so I think it's one of the things that we laugh about a lot. So it's that overnight success that took over 10 years. And so I think that's a really cool story, just seeing where you started with the trailer and then moving to where you are now. So can you tell us a little bit more about kind of where you are now, kind of what your focus is? Why do you enjoy getting to do what you do and going to work and working at your business and with all your staff and all that?
So we've been in the new building, which we opened, it was November 2020. So we've been in the building a little over a year, like a year and a half now. 2020. Time's gone by so quick. It's 2022 now. Okay. Sorry, I'm like, man. But yeah, we've been in there, about a year and 9 months now at this point. And so we've just been focusing on getting new systems in place. So we went from a drive-through where we had a staffing situation of like 2 people with scheduling 2 to 3 people a day to where we now have 19 employees, several different shifts. We've got a kitchen, we've got a bakery, we've got I basically don't do anything as far as service goes anymore, which is a whole nother story. I keep working myself out of jobs. So what I'm doing now is I'm overseeing and developing our management team. Me and my wife, she does a really good job with that particularly. So I'm more of like vision casting, trying to, keep us in the right direction creatively and financially, and then focusing on leaders in the business is kind of my role now. But so we're kind of thinking about that.
And if you meet Jessica, you will quickly realize that she is absolute brains of an operation. I think a lot of us can say our spouses are really what keep us going, what keep everything, afloat. And I just know that the time I had to spend some time with you guys together, I could tell, wow, like what a team.
Yeah,
What a
she
team.
knows how to put things in order and create a plan and take little small pieces at a time. My approach is I can see it in the distance, and I'm just going to like run after it, and I'll get there when I get there and how I'll get there. But she's like, oh, let's break it down to some small manageable steps. And thankfully she started doing that with me, because at this point it's too much to kind of do that anymore.
Well, that's the beauty of a team, is that everyone has strengths, everyone has weaknesses, but it's trusting. In your marriage, it's just your spouse and you are going to be a little bit different, but it's being able to trust each other and to know that everyone has the best end in mind, whether you're in a business relationship or whether you're in a personal relationship. If you trust is key, but you have to also be able to let go. And it sounds like you guys trusting each other and really working hard at that is important. And that's what's helped you get to where you are. Now, I want to dive into the business a little bit more. I've got some great questions I want to talk to you about, but I want to know a little bit more about what drives you at home. You've got some children, you've got a lot of fun things going. So tell us a little bit more about your family.
So yeah, we got 3 kids. Zoe's our oldest, she's 12. Shiloh is our middle daughter. She just turned 10, and my son Ezra just turned 8. So we got one that just finished up 6th grade, and the other 2 are still in elementary school. So we had our oldest daughter in 2010, and then we transitioning into the business, and then all the other kids we had Shiloh the same year we opened the business. So it's just been nonstop. They're all 2 years apart. So it was in the most thick of the business getting started and figuring things out and figuring out the finances. They were all right there screaming their heads off and not going to bed when they're supposed to. And, it's just long days. So, but I mean, ultimately I work to provide for my family and to give them a future and teach them how to be entrepreneurs. So our oldest daughter, Zoe, is going to be homeschooled this coming school season. And part of her homeschooling is going to be an internship at Loveland.
That's great.
She's going to be Jessica's assistant. And we wanted to instill in her what it takes to be in the workplace, and then what kind of skills she needs to be able to think through any type of thing she wants to do in the future and have a developed skill set while she's, getting her education too. And then even see if she wants to go to college. I'm not even pushing that they do. I want them to understand how money works, which isn't taught in school. I want them to understand how to make money, how to help others make money, and ultimately be a good for your community while you do so. So adding value in every step of her life, including what she's going to do for work and how she's going to operate in her household. So those are important things for us.
Oh, yeah. That's really awesome to do that. And what a great opportunity for her to be able to come in and get to see how both her parents work and what y'all have built too, and just be, and you're planting those seeds for later on too. Just really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it's important.
Yes, I think it's really interesting talking about your journey from the start to where you are now, and just with a lot of the growth you've had and all that. I think one of the things that we're really interested in learning about is some of those mistakes you've made along the way. And you talking about working yourself out of all the different roles that you've been in and talking about those progressions. And so some wins along the way, some mistakes along the way, but the biggest things that you've learned across that process.
Probably the biggest thing that I've learned, first part of that question, is probably being present in the moment. So in the early years, I was so focused on wanting to be, where I'm at now, or be in the cafe, or be bigger, or be more well respected for what I did. I wasn't present enough in what I was doing, and it was just more stress. So it was like stress on me. I felt pressure. Pressure is good in some ways, but too much of it is just not good for you. And I definitely had my share of that, and then also takes away from my family. So it was like I couldn't really be present with them, and it just kind of. I wish I would have got over that a little bit sooner. It's only really been the last few years I've just kind of let go of some of that stuff, like comparison, all that stuff.
Listeners, rewind that 10, 15 seconds and listen to that again. I mean, that's the kind of vulnerability we love on this podcast. The reason we have this show, like, we're real people, obviously, just like you. And just to hear that and to know that's some of the things that I'll be transparent that I struggle with. There's agencies out there that are 50 times my size, and it's that comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah.
And looking at you, like, you were talking about earlier, that instant success that everyone thinks that you somehow just made it instantly, but they don't realize all that goes into it, all the stress that we sometimes put on ourselves, all because we're trying to impress the people that don't even matter. That was just incredible, and I just appreciate that. But if you're listening to this, that was a gold nugget. Like, take that and keep it for a rainy day.
It really does take your joy. And then too, when you're in the early stages, that's really like, I was that saying when like, how do you know you're in the good old days when you're not present and you're more stressed about why you're not in the future, like it steals the joy from the good old days because you're in them when you're trying to figure out where you're at. And like now I don't even work face to face to the customers as much, and that's what I really love. So it's like those times I was really more stressed out because I wanted to be somewhere else. And now that I'm somewhere else, I'm like, I really miss being, face to face with the customers. That's the whole reason I got into it. But now going back to the second part is like working yourself out of jobs. It's very hard. It's been very hard. Like I said, I like the interaction. I like being behind the bar making drinks, and the camaraderie with the staff when you develop those relationships from being in like super busy times where you're doing your best and you're crushing it and everyone's happy and you get the customers are satisfied. Right now, I'm just back there managing cash flow and like checking the books and making arrangements for this and that. So it's like no one sees that. And then, when they do see it, they don't even know where it came from, So it's just a different period, but it's all necessary. And then I wish I would have just had that joy more back then, and then it would have equated. Yeah. Now I would be, a little bit more settled in what I'm doing as far as a mindset.
Yeah, I think that's such a big point for all of us, and I think everybody in this room has experienced those kind of feelings that you were talking about too. I know personally, definitely having all those things of my focus being other places versus my family and all those things when we're in those growth phases, and so I think the more that we can help to kind of those things are normal for an entrepreneur, but it's also something too. It's kind of nice for us to be able to look back on some of those things. And I wish I would have done that, but that's the cool that we have this platform to be able to help others to recognize that, this is normal, but you need to do something about it.
Another little piece on that too is it's on the same vein as not giving a lot of weight to unsolicited advice. Mm-hmm. From my experience has been, what are you doing next? Or where you're growing, or what's your next big thing? And when you're getting that all the time, it's like, well, I guess I need to do more. And it's never, I don't think it's anything wrong with the people asking that. They want you to succeed, and they want to see you grow. So that's a natural question they ask, but it can really mess with your mind. And you're hearing that all the time. You're like, well, what's wrong with what I'm doing now? Is this not good enough for people?
Yep.
And then again, that steals joy too. So
Well, for the people listening to this podcast, you probably have a circle of people that are like you. You're ultimately, if you're not around entrepreneurs, if you're not spending your time with people that are taking you farther, then you're not in the right. I would tell you to quickly evaluate your friends, but let that be something to you, to me, that I'm sure I've asked you that question before. And I think that it's out of love, it's out of respect. It's like you're
Yeah.
doing big things, but also let us understand that ourselves, the people that are in this world, that the words that we say carry weight. And, really think about the way that it can be taken. Not that it would ever mean to be that way, but it doesn't add that added pressure. Honestly, before that moment, I've never really thought about it that way. But wow, what a great thing. Because people ask me all the time, well, when are you going to be in commercial, or when are you going to do this? And we'll dabble a little bit in those things, but when the time's right,
Yeah.
the Lord has blessed our business beyond my wildest dreams. And I don't have to shuffle to sell a policy tomorrow to pay my bills. So I want to do what we're really good at,
Yeah.
and then learn what's next. I want to allow what's next to come naturally as a natural progression of how can we best serve our customers.
Yep.
Not the profit, not how can we, maximize the profit, but what can we do to serve our customers that also helps take our business to the next level.
Yeah. So all those things, if I would have given in, it would be like the sacrifice would be I'm not making pancakes for my kids on Saturday morning, But that's things we've grown to love. That I want to be home on the weekend. I want to be home on Saturday. We want to have breakfast. We want to have Friday night movie night. I make popcorn. We have pizza. Those are important things to me. And then when you give those things the ears, like those would be the things that you would have to take off the table. And at this point, that's the most valued thing for where my kids are in age. It's like there's only so much more time,
Well, that's one of the biggest things that I respect about you and through our whole relationship. And I've told you this multiple times because, there's been networking events or opportunities where you're like, Jeremy, like maybe it takes you a day or two extra to respond. You're like, listen, man, I can't make it work. But here's the reason why. And ultimately what I have tried so much to tell you, and I hope you know, is that, man, I respect so much that your family comes first, and that that you doing what you're called to do comes first, and you're good at saying no. All the books you read, all the stuff you listen to, it talks about how you have to get good at saying no. And so, with respect to those who are listening, once again, take this in, learn to say no. And the people have to be okay with it. For me, I respect you all the more because it wasn't just, no, I'm not doing this because I don't want to grow. It's no, I have values. And it's not that those don't align. It's just that I'm only one person and I only have the time to do this. And my focus is here. Although this is over here and it's still great, it's just not in the same direction.
I think you summed it up well, but I think that's been a journey for me personally, is being able to say no.
Yeah.
And I think that's the common misconception for any entrepreneurship is like, man, we got to take advantage of every opportunity we have. And that's a great recipe for being burnt out and not enjoying it and stealing your joy.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing. And I'm glad that's been a part of the conversation too, because I think it's a very important thing for anybody that's in that situation.
One of the greatest pleasures that I've had is seeing both of your brands, of your business. Not only do you have an amazing culture inside of your office with your team, but you have a fan base of customers and patients that really stand up and believe in what both of you do. And I know that really meant a lot to me opening Powers Insurance Experts. Like, what insurance company has t-shirts and hats and all of this stuff? But it's so fun to go into Target and see 4 people wearing the shirt, and and they know you and you know them, and that there's just such a beautiful thing about that, because we really do have so much passion about protecting families. I tell everyone we're educators, we're not insurance agents. We are education professionals. And so for us, both of your business has inspired me to really care about that. Jim, I want to ask, what about your branding inspired you to realize the importance of that when it comes to your culture as well as your client experience?
Yeah, so we want everything to convey quality and a great experience. And that goes from everything to how someone's greeted when they come into our business. That extrapolates out to everything we're putting out there from an image perspective too. And so just from how our logo looks, the colors that we use, and all that is by design, because we want to try to create that experience as much as possible. And so I'm a big fan of more minimalist design, and I like things to be clean and just nice and iconic. And we want something that's going to look good on a t-shirt and look good on a hat, and that's instantly recognizable. And also I think it plays a role too, is we have this nice, clean graphic that we use for our branding that conveys a sense of, okay, this place when I come in is going to be very clean and tidy, and that's going to extrapolate out to that perception of quality of what we're doing too. And so it all should tie together.
That's incredible. I mean, that is just so much top level thinking right there. And Beach, I know for years before I even knew what Loveland Coffee was, I remember, I'm going to shout you out, Matt Eason, if you listen to this, but I remember seeing this tag on the back of his truck and I was like, what is this? And he had a shirt or a hat. And I was like, what? He was like, Loveland Coffee. And I mean, the guy could be in Canada and he'd drive to Loveland Coffee if he wanted some coffee. He was that sold out to your branding and your mission and your vision. I mean, that's just incredible, Beach. I mean, the fact that you would be able to get people to just sell out to what you guys are doing in the mission. How did the logo come to be, and what causes people to just really pass every coffee shop on the way to Loveland?
We did a lot of work thinking through our logo. I wanted it to convey kind of our mission of what we wanted to do. So over the years, our mission has kind of come down to what we call 3 C's: coffee, customers, and community. We want to add value to all 3 of those things. So in our logo, if you were to look at it, it's a diamond with a portafilter in the middle. Most people don't really know what the middle piece is. It's a bottomless portafilter is what you use to extract espresso. So we wanted to have not the stereotypical like coffee cup with steam coming out of it as a logo, which was pretty popular at the time. And so we're like, well, let me use the tools of the trade that's kind of like more on the inside that most people don't see, and we'll kind of use it to like educate. This is what it is, and this is why we put an emphasis on it. So that's why that's there. That's a portafilter. Again, that's used for the espresso machine. And then coming off the portafilter are like red rays of light kind of coming behind it, and that kind of symbolizes our reach into the community. We wanted to be about our customers. We wanted to value them, add value to them every day, serve them. Ultimately, that's the crucial piece of everything that we do, is how we treat one another, our staff now, our larger staff, and then also our customers. But as far as the logo goes, we put a lot of time into designing that, making sure I wanted something that was like a powerful image that was again, going back to what Jim was saying about all the essentials. I like clean design. I like thoughtful design. Again, things that look good on t-shirts, hats. Once you kind of nail it in and you get it, I think the most important thing is to spend a lot of time there, even spend the most money there that you may have, to make sure it's coming off like you know what you're doing. We wanted that because we started off as a drive-through. Basically, it's an 8.5 by 12-foot trailer that's underpinned in a parking lot. So there wasn't it's not the most sexiest thing in the world, but I can control what you see on someone's car with a sticker or the images I'm putting out. So we were probably the most well-branded coffee shop in Columbia, and I'm pretty proud of what we've been able to brand overall. People really gravitate towards what we've been able to create.
Yeah, that's really awesome. That speaks to the intention that you had in that and setting that stage for the awareness and the recognition of the brand now, because you see it everywhere. That's a direct result of the intention with what you had initially, with making sure you got that right. And I really like the fact of it speaking to the way that you want to run your business too. And it's not just a symbol just for the sake of a symbol. Everything in it has a meaning too, which makes it a lot more powerful.
And too, also, I mean, my name of my company is my last name. Also, so I was like, my name is going on this, and it's probably a little unconventional these days to have your name as part of your business name, but it kind of goes hand in hand with you can have a really great logo and really bad service or a really bad product. We wanted to have both. The visual narrative is what I like to call the branding. Like, what story are we trying to tell with what we put out there for people to see? And then the reality behind that of what happens on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. And we want those things to mirror and match and complement each other. And then that's what gets people excited about wanting to be like a brand ambassador, or like, that's how a lot of our customers kind of think of themselves, like they're behind what we want to do and they're part of it. And they are part of it. They're the most important part of it. And so they happily love to buy our merch and wear it, and not only wear it, come into the shop wearing it. And then it's almost like going to a concert with with going to your own concert or wearing your own T-shirt on stage or something.
Well,
like
I need to figure that out. I give all my swag away. We typically will donate, or put it to some sort of a charity. But this man right here, people walk in, get a cup of coffee, buy a coffee mug, buy a shirt with Beach's face on it. I mean, like, it's just crazy. I mean, somebody probably has Loveland tattooed on their arm right now.
Well, next time I come to our annual meetup for my insurance, I'll wear your T-shirt to the meeting, so we could have a full circle moment with it.
So I have a question for you based off of that. Do you remember the first time you saw one of your things out in the wild?
Oh yeah, talking about the sticker, when you mentioned your friend Matt having it, that was probably the best investment I ever did. I invested in a great sticker. I use Sticker Robot. They're out of California. To this day, I've probably bought over 20,000 stickers from them. They use it's a silk screen print process instead of a digital print. So it actually has a raised feel to it, very high quality. And I gave them away for the first 5 or 6 years. And I don't know, 85 cents a piece or something like that, depending on how many I got. And I just gave them away. And I remember people would send me pictures of them. Like, I was in North Carolina and I saw this, or I'm driving down the street and seeing it. And then like other companies started, I mean, I see your sticker everywhere. What are you doing? I'm like, I just give them away for free. And people put them on. But again, it goes back, not only was I giving them good service and they're happy with the product we got, I gave them something and they're like, oh man, I can get behind this. And
well, it's the law of reciprocity. I mean, it's just that if you give someone something, they want to do something in return. I mean, it's such a beautiful thing and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing that if I give you something, you feel like, man, I really want to return the favor. Like, no one ever wants to be the last one that had something done for them when they didn't return it, And so what a great marketing tool. But I know the proof is that you did it. Like, you created this sticker, you helped build a brand, and those stickers today are some of the foundational pieces of where you are. And so guys, something so small that you don't notice. Once again, we've said it 3 or 4 times on this podcast. You're an overnight success, but it's a lot of hard work and ideas and that creative mindset that you have. And we're running out of time here, so we'll be quick here towards the last few things. But I wanted to just ask you really quick, when it comes to your team, what is it that gets your team to have the buy-in? I mean, I know that I come there, they know me by name somehow. I hope that's not a bad thing. They know me by name. Whenever someone ordered me a drink I accidentally said without milk, and I meant to say oat milk, and they were like, listen, Jeremy would never get that, but he was like, he's on some diet thing. And so they gave me the weirdest drink ever.
Everyone's on some diet thing.
I tell you what. And so it was just such a funny experience. But I walked in the next day and he's like, dude, I knew you wouldn't have ordered that. And so what creates the buy-in that you have from your team to really develop intricate relationships with the people that call Loveland home?
Well, I mean, going back to the branding, we wanted to create not only a visual narrative, but then an atmospheric narrative. So everything designed in the cafe is meant to have like a vibe, is what we call it. So we try to translate, the vibe has to start on our end of the counter with our team. So we have a very stringent interviewing process. Travis and Jessica do all the interviewing and hiring, and they have a very good, keen idea of the type of people that fit in our culture. So when they come in, they just kind of either add to the vibe or heighten it in some way. And then, how we design the space and the colors we choose and the music we play all kind of goes into that on the customer side. But we want our employees to be involved with that as well.
Well, Travis is one of those employees that every business wished they had.
He's been with us for over 6 years, and he came in wanting to work for us for free. He just wanted to learn how to make coffee, and he wanted to work towards having his own thing. And I was like, I will pay you. You can come in and work. And he quickly realized he would be better off just working for us instead of trying to do his own thing. And if we just kind of kept working him out, he started from wanting to work for free to being the general manager of our business. And
dreams come true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really awesome. So one of the things we're always interested in, and we talk about it a lot, is there any authors out there, any content producers or anything like that are particularly inspiring for you?
I don't have a ton of books. I mean, early on, I read like E-Myth, and that was kind of helpful in some aspects. But I try to draw inspiration from like general life and like people I meet or conversations that I have. But in particular, like there was a documentary that I watched probably 3 or 4 years ago now. It was called Prosperity. It was just talking about what kind of impact you can have as a business by using your business as a force of good,
Amen.
either for like causes that you're maybe passionate about. In this case, this was an environmental cause they were talking about, or several different types of ones. And that led me to want to do something more for our business to kind of balance profit and purpose and all those type of things. So we determined we wanted to join 1% for the Planet as a business. And what that entails is donating 1% of your gross annual revenue to environmentally based nonprofits. We contribute to 1% for the Planet, but also we find a partner member. And actually in Columbia, no one was even a part of it. No one in Columbia, I think still to this day, I'm the only person that is part of the 1% for the Planet. So I've been trying to build a network of this. And I got in touch with the Congaree Riverkeeper, and they just so happened that we're trying to get into the network, and you have to be referred in. So I was like, hey, I'll refer you in, and you can be my network person. So I donate 1% my gross annual revenue to Congaree Riverkeeper. So in the last few years, we've been able to donate upwards of over $30,000 to them.
Well, that is purpose over profits. And that's exactly why, we wanted to have you on this podcast. When it comes to your team, when it comes to your customer experience, when it comes to your family, when it comes to the community, you are purpose over profits. And like I tell everyone, it's not that profits aren't important. Profits help push the mission forward. But if you get to the top and you're all alone because you've screwed everyone over in the process because profits were it's going to be a lonely place to be. And
Definitely.
so I'm inspired by that, and it's great to hear. Now, I want to ask you one fun thing, and then we're going to learn where we can come and get this coffee that people drive hours, I feel like, to come and get. Where is the coolest place you've been to on your journey to find the best coffee to provide for your customers?
Well, about 3 years ago, we went to Guatemala. That was a pretty great trip. I'd probably say that was it because we buy a lot of Guatemalan coffee. It's kind of like our most coffee we go through. We use that coffee to make our cold brew. That cold brew goes into the Steel Hands coffee logger, and they buy a lot of that from us. We sell a lot of cold brew generally at our shop, between our shops, and then the standard Guatemalan coffee that we roast and bag is a fan favorite. So we decided we wanted to invest more in that particular coffee. So we worked with our importers and set up an origin trip. Me and Jessica went out there and solidified that relationship even more, where we determined we're buying all of this coffee from you.
Talk about a legitimate business expense. Like for me, I'm going to trace it back to the origin.
Yeah.
I'm going to trace it back to the origin of travelers and go watch documents be printed out. I mean, come on. I need no wonder you got out of insurance so quick. But
So we went there for 10 days and met several of the farmers that contribute to the cooperative where we buy our coffee from. We buy out almost the entire lot of this one particular coffee we like. That we use for a cold brew. And as a result, they're like, well, we'll put your logo on the burlap bags. So all the bags from that crop are custom branded. Going back to the branding, those burlap bags are even branded. So
you sell them. I see them out there. But people buy burlap bags, having those little, bag races in the front of the building. I mean, it's crazy.
So to finish off, we have loved kind of diving deep into the history of your business and everything that you stand for and everything that you're doing. So we also want to give you the opportunity to let us know where you are, what all you offer.
Well, our original flagship drive-through is on St. Andrews Road. So that's 7001 St. Andrews Road. It's a double drive-through, very convenient for those folks that are on the go. That's made us our bread and butter over the years. We cut our teeth in the industry there. Learned a lot of things at that spot. You'll be well taken care of. If you have a little bit more time in your mornings or even into the evenings, our cafe is right down the road from the drive-thru. It's probably less than 2 miles probably. It's right off of Lake Murray Boulevard. It's 7475 Carlisle Street, and that's in Irmo. There we have an in-house bakery. We have a kitchen where we provide breakfast and some lunch options in the afternoon. We have craft beer on draft. Of course, we roast our own coffee there where you can view the whole process, start to finish. You can, like a glass that you can observe through. We have a conference room upstairs that is rented out by the hour with a full TV and all the things you need to have a well-run meeting. And then We even rent out the whole space depending on the time and date. Sundays are always available to rent out the whole space we have people doing bridal showers there. We've had wedding rehearsals and all kinds of fun stuff. But yeah, we have a huge patio. There's plenty of seating. It's over 5,000 square feet of space in that building. And there's an upstairs too.
And you guys also have an artisan market from time to time, correct?
Yeah, we just had one this past Saturday. We do that from time to time. We kind of put a pause on some of those for the summer, but we had a lady, Martha's Market, or I think it's Martha's Market. She did that one and set it up when we allowed her to come in and do it. So that was a hands-off type of an event.
Well, that's that community focus.
Yeah, we want to help other businesses succeed. So we're more than happy to help out with those type of things.
Well, when you think Irmo, you can't not think Loveland. And so we love the footprint that you've placed there. Your family lives there. You guys live and breathe Irmo. And ultimately, the community is very blessed to have you, Beach. We just really, from the bottom of our hearts, appreciate you coming into this, man. You're one of those leaders, community leaders and friends that I'm just inspired by every time I have a chance to hang out with you. And so I just thank you for that. And thank you for just coming on and just being intentional and sharing with all of our viewers just how you did it, and that it's not easy, and it's okay to try to push out the noise and understand that stress is going to come. But if you want to be successful, just keep coming to work every day and love your family in the process.
Thank you for having me. I agree.
Yeah, thank you very much. This has been great, and I think it's going to be very informative for our audience, and just a great example of what you can achieve with the right intentions. As always, thanks for tuning in to the Purpose Over Profits podcast. We appreciate every single one of you lending your ear to hopefully us being able to help make an impact in your business journey. Tune in next time as we talk about how to inspire buy-in from clients, customers, and your staff.